Hi everyone! It's a beautiful day in May. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. My friends and I are here in this beautiful town of Bingen, Germany. I'm so happy to tell you that today is going to be a long and exciting day because we are going to explore this very popular and interesting part of Germany, the romantic Middle Rhine Valley. The Rhine Valley is renowned for its charming villages and vineyards, as well as castles, mostly on the hills overlooking the Rhine River. So, what exactly are we going to do? We are going to take a cruise from the town of Bingen up to St. Croix and back. On our way back, we will go down in the beautiful town of Bacharach. Then, back in the boat and go down again in Assmannshausen to combine this trip with the Assmannshausen tour, where we ride the chairlift to the top, take a hike to the Niederwald Monument, and then ride the cable car going down to the town of Rudesheim. Subsequently, we will take a ferry ride to cross to Bingen. Here we are in the town of Bingen, where we will start our cruise. This is actually the second station from Rudesheim. For this cruise, we are taking the so-called Lorelei round trip, which starts from Rudesheim until St. Croix, which takes almost 2 hours, and then back to Bingen. On the left is our route, and on the right is the timings. So we are leaving from Bingen at 9:15 and we will be arriving in St. Croix at 10:45. And this is the map of our tour in Assmannshausen later on. This is interesting. This is an information board of significant spots and information along the Rhine River. So the ticket counter is now open. We can buy our tickets. Actually, you can also buy your tickets online. We are boarding. And that's our boat. Boarding our boat. On the hill above the town of Bingen stands the Klopp Castle. This is the ruin of Ehrenfels Castle, which was destroyed in 1689. It was a customs post controlling shipping on the Rhine and was supplemented by the Maus Tower or the Mauseturm at the river on a small island at the Binger Loch.
To the old Roman town of Koblenz.
We are now approaching the town of Assmannshausen. Assmannshausen's red wine tradition goes back to its foundation in year 1108. Besides its high-quality red wines, this town also possesses a warm thermal spring rich in lithium, which was well known as a natural health spa until the end of the war. This place is today a preferred vacation resort for the Rhine visitors.
Yes, perfect.
And that is Castle Rheinstein, perched on a rocky cliff 83 meters above the river, perfectly suited for its original purpose as a customs post to watch over the traffic traversing up and down the river road. This was built in 1320 and was restored by Prince Frederick of Prussia in 1823. This is well worth a visit for those with a passion with medieval life and architecture. We are now approaching the Reichenstein Castle, also in the town of Trechtingshausen. The large construction is one of the spectacular examples of the castle reconstruction in Neo-Gothic style. This castle was built in the 11th century, owned by a robber baron. Therefore, it was destroyed in 1253 and again in 1282, and it decayed since the 16th century. In 1834, the reconstruction has started, and now it has a hotel, museum, and restaurant. Please check their website for more information, link in the description below. Coming up is the Castle Zuneck, which was built in the 11th century. The income of the castle consisted mainly of customs duties for Rhine ships and road tolls. This castle was destructed in year 1282, and in 1842 the Prussian King Frederick William IV decided to rebuild as a hunting lodge. Since 1948, this castle has been owned by the Rhineland-Palatinate state and can be visited. This castle was restored to a simple yet romantic plan with many colorful roses growing along its ramparts. This is the town Niederheimbach, and up there is the Heimburg Castle, which was built from 1294 on as a bastion in the Electorate of Mainz against the Palatines. It decayed later and was destroyed by the French in 1689. In the 19th century, it was rebuilt by the industrialist Hugo Stinnes, who converted it to a neo-Gothic style summer residence with a square layout. From afar, we could see the ruins of Fürstenberg Castle, which was built in the year 1219 by the Archbishop of Cologne to protect his property and toll station. It was destroyed during the Palatine Wars of Succession. Changing owners, including the current owner, always farmed the surrounding vineyard. Hikers can reach the ruins by taking a detour from the nearby Rheinburgenweg. We are now approaching the town of Bacharach, and on the hill is the Stahleck Castle, a 12th century fortified castle. It stands on a crag approximately 160 meters above sea level. It offers a commanding view of the Lorelei Valley. It has a water-filled partial moat, which is a rarity in Germany. Built on the orders of the Archbishop of Cologne, it was destroyed in the late 17th century. It was only in 1925 that Stahleck Castle was rebuilt according to a historical model. Today, it accommodates one of the most attractive youth hostels in Germany. Bacharach is actually a very nice town. As per our plan, we will be going down here and spending a good 2 hours on our way back. So we are off to the next station, the town of Kaub. Daghan lin katong padung Koblenz lin yang ko. In front of us is the Pfalzgrafenstein, known as the Floating Castle on Pfalz Island in the River Rhine near Kaub. In 1326, it was built by Ludwig the Bavarian on a cliff in the Rhine so that customs duties could be collected from ships sailing up the Rhine. Above on the hill is the Gutenfels Castle, which was built in year 1220. It was used with Pfalzgrafenstein Castle and the fortified town of Kaub to provide an impenetrable toll zone for the Holy Roman Emperor. After an unsuccessful siege in 1504, the castle was renamed Gutenfels, or Solid Rock, rebuilt between 1889 and 1892, and it is now used as a hotel. We are now approaching Oberwesel, the town of towers and wine. Even from a distance, the Rhine traveler recognizes the silhouette of Schönborg Castle, the two imposing churches, St. Martin's Church and the Red Church of Our Lady, and the proud fortified wall with its numerous towers. The Schönborg Castle was built in the first half of the 12th century, probably by Count Palatine Hermann von Stahleck. Despite structural interventions during the 20th century, Schönborg Castle still has a considerably sound structure, whereby the high shield wall is what stands out. Today, the complex holds a hotel with a restaurant, as well as the Gate Tower Museum. Hikers can reach Schönborg Castle via the Rheinburgen Weg Trail.
Travel the world with Torken and Apollin. We are in Germany this time.
So we have a one-day cruise tour. We start in Bingen, I think, yeah, and after that we end in Saint-Goar. I think in a moment we are in Oberwesel. This is 2 hours or 3 hours cruise.
The Upper Middle Rhine Valley is home to many legends and stories, but perhaps the most famous of all is that of Lorelei, the beautiful and melancholy siren whose song enchanted passing sailors. Here we are at the Lorelei Rock, a 433 feet high slate cliff. The river here is so deep and narrow, and it is one of the most dangerous places in the Upper Middle Rhine Valley. Ships crossing each other here are directed by light signals called Warschau. The name Lorelei first appeared in the romantic ballad by Clemens Brentano in 1801 about a pretty woman disappointed by love called Lorelei. Spurned by her lover, she wanted to die. Men were fascinated by her beauty, and even the bishop could not ignore her grace and charm. He sent her into a convent, but the journey was interrupted by the cliff. She wanted to look once again at her beloved castle and her lover, and in desperation and despair, she jumped into the river. Lorelei appears as the distraught woman Lurley sitting on a rock, combing her long golden hair and luring the barges into their destruction. So now we are in the town of Sangorshausen. I hope I pronounced it correctly. Above are actually two castles, the Cat Castle and the Mouse Castle, built very close to each other. What we can see is the Cat Castle, which was built around 1371 by Count William II. The castle was bombarded in 1806 by Napoleon and rebuilt in the late 19th century. It is now privately owned and not open to visitors. So our last station is the town of Saint-Goar. Above is the Rheinfels Castle ruin. It was started in 1245 by Count Dieter V of Katzenelnbogen. After expansions, it was the largest fortress in the Middle Rhine Valley between Koblenz and Mainz. While much of the castle is a ruin, some of the outer buildings are now a luxury hotel, wellness center, and a restaurant. There is also a museum within some of the better preserved structures. And now we're going back towards Rudesheim. A very important information though, when you're boarding the boat, you have to inform the crew collecting your tickets where exactly you're going down so they can arrange for your necessary pass back to the boat. Sitting inside the boat will also give you a different view of the outside through these huge windows. Now we're going back, so we can enjoy the comfort of this dining area here down because we are done. I'm done taking pictures of the castles up there. It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful. And now we're gonna enjoy the drinks and food on board. And it's so nice. It's May, so it's not so hot yet, and it's not so crowded because I think in the summertime, peak summertime, it's going to be full, crowded, full with tourists. So this is. So we are now in Bacharach.
We will have a 2-hour stay here for food and a little bit of maybe sightseeing. That's the boat.
Given a very limited time we have here in Bacarac, we couldn't do much but have a stroll around the town center, look for a place to have our quick lunch, and maybe visit the church. The name Bacarac was said to come from Bacchus, who was the old Roman god of wine. This town is considered to be one of the best wine destinations in Germany. We are inside the St. Peter's Church, which dates back to year 1094, but the current building was founded in the 12th century. It has been restored and rebuilt a number of times over the years. Inside are many original furnishings and items from the centuries ago. Also inside, you will find the tomb of Johann Friedrich von Wolfskehl from year 1609. This market tower here, dating back to 13th century, is very interesting. And look at the details of the structure. It's still intact. And now we're back to the station waiting for our boat to Assmannshausen, where we are going to start our tour to Rudesheim.
Vamosa. We are boarding again. Another boat to Assmannshausen.
It's getting cloudy. I hope it's not going to rain while we are in Assmannshausen, because we're gonna be riding a chairlift and cable car. As planned, we went down in Assmannshausen station, and now we are going to go for the chairlift to the Niederwald Monument. Here we are at the chairlift station to buy our Assmanns tour ticket, which takes 1 hour and a half. And for this, we paid €12.50 per person.
Hello!
We are going up. On our way, we will see a unique view of the famous red wine community of Assmannshausen, the Rhine Valley, and the Rhine Castle opposite the river. Wow, that's the Rhine River and the Castle Rheinstein opposite, looking down the town of Assmannshausen. No doubt that was a very relaxing and enjoyable ride. Getting ready to go down. Right outside the station is this wild park where we could buy feeds and lure the deers right up to the fence. A fun activity surely for the children. We are on top. This is the hunting lodge, the Jagdschloss Niederwald. Up here are also hiking trails of the Niederwald forest. We chose to take the short, straight path to the Niederwald monument. And finally, we are here.
Uy, kanay.
Look at that, it's so beautiful. On our left is the town of Rudesheim, and on the right is the town of Bingen where we started.
Sige, asa na natin picture.
This is the Niederwald Monument, which was constructed between 1871 and 1883 to commemorate the founding of the German Empire in 1871 after the end of the Franco-Prussian War. The total costs of the work is estimated at 1 million gold marks. The monument was inaugurated on September 28, 1883. This 38 meters tall monument represents the union of all Germans. And now it starts to rain.
Guys, we are walking here on top of Rudesheim. That's the view. That's the view below us.
This is the Lookout Temple directly at the Niederwald Monument, built in 1788 as an attraction. During the Romantic era of the 19th century, the temple became the focal point of many intellectual greats of their time. Among the visitors were Brentano, Beethoven, or Goethe. And now we're taking the cable car down to the town of Rudesheim. Well, what a beautiful day we have spent in this part of Germany. From sunshine to rain, there is just so much to discover around here. The charming old towns, the castles and monasteries, monuments and landmarks, vineyards, wine tasting and hiking. The cruise and the cable car tour connected it all and brings us closer to the beauty of nature, the history and most important sights. I would highly recommend this trip with your friends and families. Cost-wise, it is very reasonable. The whole-day parking in Bingen, for example, is only €4. The cruise was €28, and the cable car tour is €12.50. You can find lots of information online. So do it. It's really, really nice.
Tuwa na sad din ang pork. Dagko din ang pork, no?
We are now approaching the beautiful town of Rudesheim.
Takasken. Nalisang ka, Ken.
So now we are looking for a place to eat in this beautiful town of Rudesheim. Rudesheim is really known for wine making, especially for Riesling wines. We are in the Drosselgasse, a 144-meter cobbled street lined with timber frame buildings, shops, taverns, and restaurants serving regional dishes. Canal. That's a nice thing out there. We got really good food here in this restaurant, and looking forward for our dessert. For our dessert, we have this Baumstritzel. It's something new for me. It is actually a sweet cake specific to Hungarians from Romania. It's made from sweet yeast, of which a strip is spun and then wrapped around a truncated cone-shaped baking spit and rolled in a granulated sugar. I tell you, it's really delicious.
€24.
So may special ani?
Handmade.
Ano di ay? Machine din.
This is the Bromserburg Castle, one of the oldest castles in the Middle Rhine region, built in 10th century, and today it houses an excellent wine museum. And this is the Busenburg Castle, built on the 12th century. This is called the Lowland Castle. Now we are taking a ferry to cross to Bingen. If you miss the cruise boats in Rudesheim, you can always take this ferry to Bingen for only €3.50. And it's a very quick ride.
Amo na ni atong gilakwan ganina. Mata dito.
We are in Bingen Promenade, and opposite us is the Rudesheim Vineyards, and up there is the Niederwald Monument where we were. And now we are going to look for a place to have some dinner and some drinks. And here ends our day tour. By now it's already 7 o'clock in the evening. Guys, thank you so much for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed watching my video. I know it's kind of long, but I guess it's very interesting and very informative. Start planning your trip now. I am looking forward to see you in my next video. Bye!